All right, next call the village board to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you everyone for their attendance, and if the minutes can reflect the various department heads and trustees, let's move on, or various department staff. Let's move on to item 3, entertain a motion for approval of the 10-5 village board meeting minutes as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second, comments, questions on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom, I should have, I don't know why I don't look like you.
I'll make noise next time.
I should always be looking down at you, down to you.
There you go. I don't have a question on the village board minutes, and so maybe we could have gone with that motion. But we do have our public works minutes attached in draft form, and we are taking action on one of the items, so I just wanted to bring up that the motion itself, I can cover that also.
Yeah, let's cover public works.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Anybody in the audience on a non-agenda item? Let's move on to item 5, any materials have been presented in normal fashion. Let's move on to item 6, resolutions, ordinance, action items. Item A is the approval of the intergovernmental agreement for temporary fire department administrative oversight and operational assistance between the village of Saukville and the village of Grafton. Get it on the table, entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. This is an item that has gone at staff, in Saukville, in finance, probably public safety, back and forth. Where are we at, Jesse?
Certainly. Last month, the village board met in closed session to review a draft agreement with Saukville for some temporary intergovernmental administrative oversight for their fire department. Unfortunately, Saukville's fire chief abruptly retired. They have a captain in-house handling a lot of the day-to-day duties. However, there is some management assistance that's required, especially at this time of year with budget, but also with personnel issues as well. We as the village of Grafton have a long-standing relationship with Saukville through building inspection services and also fire inspection services. And also speaking of the quality of our fire department, they approached us with the idea of a temporary intergovernmental agreement to help provide some of this managerial and operational oversight. With that, a draft agreement was discussed by the village board, forwarded to Saukville, who recently did agree to the terms that were forwarded to them. With that, the document is back before the Grafton Village Board for an approval, a final approval step to enter into this agreement. It needs to be made very clear that the purpose of this intergovernmental agreement is not about sending Grafton fire engines and ambulances to cover Saukville. Rather, it is about sharing management resources in a flexible and measured way. You'll note, from our previous discussions about the measurement of time in a given week. If it goes over said allotment of hours in a given week, both administrators must understand and agree to those, along with feedback from the chief, agree to any additional hours of time spent with regards to assisting Saukville in this manner. There are the terms set forth regarding compensation from municipality to municipality under the services being rendered under this intergovernmental agreement contract. With that, as I mentioned, the Saukville's Village Board has approved the terms of the agreement and are ready to enter into it as well. That said, it's before the Village Board here in Grafton this evening.
Okay, the copy of the agreement is in the packet. Questions?
So I can't help but notice that this is coming at a time when, the county's talking about consolidation and how convenient that, they would ask us to get into a bind when they would ask. So who knows, maybe in the future that would be the first step.
Certainly, and I think that is, the way I understand it, that was part of Saukville's decision-making process here. Knowing that that study is out there, they didn't necessarily want to rush into making any significant command staff decisions. So, without seeing what the report has to say. And so with that, this temporary agreement really was, the idea for this temporary agreement was born.
And if it gets too much, then there is a,
There is an exit clause, yes.
right, so the chief, you would come to the board or come to Jesse and
Yep.
say it's too much?
Yes.
They want too much time?
Yes.
Okay.
Chief, any comments you want to add?
No, I think we've covered it pretty well.
Okay, any further comments from the board? Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Move on, item B, report of the Public Safety Committee. One item, a motion to approve the purchase of a 13-month subscription to Lexipol's Law Enforcement Policy Manual and Daily Training Bulletins and Wisconsin Department of Justice accepted online training and records management system in the amount of $20,848.56 be approved.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Motion second, clearly there was a gap. So to actually entertain that kind of charge now, but, you know, you need to keep up with the times. Chief, anything you wish to add?
No, we had an opportunity to review the policy manual pretty thoroughly. And we came to the conclusion that there are some lacking in our policy manual, some outdated policies. And moving forward, some best practices for us to be able to implement and obtain our accreditation, which is a goal of mine within the next 5 years to do. And Lexipol, having worked with them in the past, understanding how they work and knowing that they will work with us on accreditation is a significant time saving on my part, and it does help us move forward, and especially with the times that are going on right now with our with the current situation. So,
Yeah. Questions for the chief or on this item?
Yes, if I may, one other benefit to this project, our liability insurance carrier, we actually provide a rebate by adopting this policy program, because it is so fully vetted and in essence universally accepted, that is another benefit to this project.
thank you, Jesse. I forgot to mention that.
Certainly, no worries.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Let's move on to item C, report of the Board of Public Works. Item 1 is a motion to purchase the Avant 755i articulating tractor from Bobcat Plus of Butler, Wisconsin for a not to exceed price of $88,733.16 be approved.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion second, which item is
Okay,
that this one?
actually, maybe this is the right time to talk about it. In terms of the report from the Board of Public Works, there was one motion and recommendation to the village board included in the minutes, but not listed here, and it had to do with tabling the memorandum of understanding with Town of Grafton regarding improvements to Pleasant Valley Road. I don't know that the village board needs to approve.
They would not. In essence, it's tabled at the committee level.
Right.
So until such time the committee takes it off of the table and takes action either to recommend favorably or recommend denial of that MOU, it would not come up to the village board. It stays at committee level with that direction for staff to continue meetings with the township in order to revisit the project.
So there was a further recommendation to the town to inform them, and that can be done at staff level as well then, correct, Amber?
Correct, that has been done.
That actually has been done, yes.
All right, so, yeah, everything's good, thank you.
Good. Okay, motion second, comments on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 2 is a motion to enter into a contractual agreement with Bill Large, Concrete and Masonry of Belgium, Wisconsin, to provide stone and mortar repairs to the State Highway 60 bridge over Milwaukee River for the $7,500, with the approval up to $10,000 with Director Thomas approval if needed to be approved.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion second, I think, very good reasoning why it needs to get done as soon as possible was in the minutes. Any questions for Amber?
Yeah, I do. Amber, target date, now that this gets approved?
right, hopefully get it done end of this month, early November. It is weather pending, so, you know, hopefully we get enough, you know, at least daytime weather to get this work done, but ASAP.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 3 is a motion to approve contracts with Decor and Associates of Milwaukee, Wisconsin for inspection services for Shady Hollow Phase 4 and Blue Stem Phase 3 underground utility installation at a rate of $91 with total hours based on the contractor's schedule be approved.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Motion second, it's all pass through, pretty much boilerplate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Let's move on to item 7, Department and Officers Reports. We're probably never going to get as good representation as we see tonight, so here's your opportunity. Anything you wish to ask of our department heads, anything they wish to pass along back to us. Jesse, you can start.
Budget, here's my report now. In all seriousness, a lot of my energy has been focused over the last handful of weeks getting this executive budget proposal ready and out to the board. With that, Trustee Krieger, you stole a little bit of my thunder in that at the Board of Public Works level, committee level, memorandum of understanding came forward from the town of Grafton to establish a cost sharing agreement for Pleasant Valley Road rehabilitation project. Herein lies the rub. Shady Hollow, as it's developing, that construction traffic exits out onto Pleasant Valley Road, which is significant wear and tear. So the long and short of it is, and I believe that the best course of action was that the matter was tabled to revisit it. What is the scheduling of Shady Hollow build out versus the need of reconstruction of that road by the township, so that basically we can do it as a joint effort, do it well, do it once, and be done, instead of doing it now, having it broken apart by heavy construction traffic, and having to revisit it on a different level. So with that, those are the 2 big items out of my office. I do know Park and Recreation Committee will be busy with an agenda item to address Lions Park play structure. With that, Director Town could speak to that.
Anything you wish to add?
I'm sorry, what was it?
Anything you wish to add?
We'll be meeting Wednesday night to go over the Lions Park playground. As Jesse mentioned, there are some pieces that are broken on that playground, so the playground is currently closed due to significant safety reasons. We looked into prices for that with either replacing it with other parts or replacing the entire playground, and we do feel like it would be in the best interest to replace the playground, so that's what we'll be discussing on Wednesday night.
Yeah. Tom, did you ever hear that?
Yeah, a question for Amber, for just asking about the stop work order to C.D. Smith. Has that been rectified now?
It has not completely been rectified. They did get the first layer of shop drawings completed, and they did do a concrete pour last week. We allowed them to move forward with just one concrete pour where that rebar was all approved. I asked today for an update. We are waiting on, I think, the 6th round of the shop drawings on the rest of the rebar. So we have not fully lifted that stop work order yet.
And then the final question or update, hydrant repainting, has that contractor started, and will he finish before?
I believe they're done, but I'm not 100% certain on that. I do believe they're done.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Other questions? Yes, Dave.
Yeah, Director Thomas, just another quick question about the bridge. We kind of talked about it at Public Works, but any more discussion on sealing those pylons that we have? Was he able to do that?
I don't have any further response on that yet, but I will have those discussions and hoping we can find something. It's just whether there's something cost effective that is worthwhile.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? All right, let's move on to licenses. We have 3 individuals and their places of employment are listed. I entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 9, entertain a motion for the approval of the expenditures of $345,414.91.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion second. Questions on the bills that haven't been answered?
Yes, Jesse, you responded to me about the appraisal.
Yes, sir.
That's gonna be how often is that you're gonna be charged?
That was a mailing to, for the notices of the adjusted property values. So that should be a one-shot deal.
But there was 2 items on there.
Correct, I believe it was split, and I'm sorry, I did not print out my notes. as to what that was. Paul had researched that for me, and quite frankly, I copied and pasted it into an email. I did not bring those notes.
One was for 4186, and it's for 3893. And it's, what's the assessment contract? So-
Yes, as I recall, one of them is the payment for the assessor themselves, and the other one is the payment for the mailings.
But this would be it, then we have to continue paying anymore, Jessica?
The $38,000 $3,800 is for the mailing costs, and then our standard fee for just standard services is the 41.
And how often is that, monthly?
That's monthly.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions on the bills?
I just have one. Back on page 1, the very first page, it is from General Fire Equipment, and it's the squad setup for the 2020, and the amount is $11,843. Is that just for one vehicle?
That's correct.
Any others? Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 10, motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all much. Thank you. Justin, you wanna?